What if your happiness isn't missing? It's just buried deeply under habits you've been repeating for years.
And what if the life you've built, career, family, and responsibilities has come at the cost of your peace?
You found the Midlife Revolution Unleashed, the space to embrace your wisdom, reignite your passions, and move boldly into what's next. I am Coach Wayne, the VIP coach.
And I'm Coach Stacy M. Lewis. We're here with insights, stories, and strategies to fuel your midlife journey. So take a breath, lean in. Your revolution starts now.
Hey, what's up, partner? How are you?
I'm well. I always like both the music and the people at the end of the video. They're just excited and they are celebrating the richness of midlife, and I love it.
I love a celebration myself. So, Coach Stacy,
Yes.
today, what is our treat for our listeners?
Well, certainly we want to welcome our listeners to Midlife Revolution Unleashed. I am your co-host, Coach Stacy, and I am a nonprofit executive, co-host of Midlife Revolution Unleashed, a lover of God and his people, and a midlife women's coach. And today we are talking about helping our midlife community reclaim their power, rediscover their purpose, and step into a life of peace, clarity, and a little bit of prosperity as we focus on the fact that you're not stuck, but your habits might be.
Mm. Stacey, I'm going to jump on, but let me tell the people who I am. In case you don't know, now you do. I am Coach Wayne, the VIP coach, and I help midlife men navigate through the mire of what they say, the messy middle, so that your next half can be your best half. Stace, we did a show previously. This is like part 2 of that series where we talked about habits. And a lot of folks are living their lives and doing things, not realizing that they are creating habits that's causing them to not have that sense of fulfillment and what we call joy and happiness. So today we want to bust that up.
Yeah. Our most recent episode, we talked about midlife vitality, and this is really an extension or deepening of that conversation. And so, we're doing the right things, but oftentimes we're not feeling fulfilled. And, a lot of times that's based on the fact that we're doing the same things, or we have some habits that might be in our way or serving as stumbling blocks. So this is going to be a great episode, Coach Wayne.
Yeah. We happy people have happy habits, and people who feel broken or sad, when you track it, it's because they've created or followed poor habits or sad habits. So there is, in fact, a formula, and we want to talk about that based on what happy people do.
I love it. This reality of being in this season of life, we are still managing, some of us, career expectations. We're managing these responsibilities of family, whether it be caregiving or managing or coaching adult children, and often experiencing a lot of success without fulfillment, and thinking about that kind of, who am I beyond what I'm doing for other people, right? Who am I now and what is fulfilling to me now? And so I think as we begin to talk about, this reality, we're focused on really making this season of life, of midlife, rich. And it doesn't happen overnight, but with intention, right, we get to really move toward that richness of midlife.
Yeah, I couldn't help. I have a prop here, and I've been saying, when am I going to use my props? And now I'm going to use it. This is my little level, Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
And midlife is where we level up. We take a chance at looking at what's going ahead of us and what's still ahead, what's gone before and what's ahead. And we level
Mm-hmm.
up. And oftentimes when we do that, we recognize that we may have been serving everybody else but ourselves, and we're not in that place where we're feeling happy. We're not feeling fulfilled. So we got to ask the question, you know, whose life am I living,
Mm.
and am I doing me? Am I serving me, or am I living for other people's expectations and their happiness?
I couldn't agree with you more. And part of this midlife reality check is also asking ourselves the question of, when is the last time you felt genuinely at peace? You know, a sense of contentment, a sense of possibility without striving. When was the last time you felt that? And doing this type of check in, self assessment, self review intentionally can really begin to help us identify opportunities to move forward.
Yeah. One of my clients, Stacy, shared with me recently that he's retired, 72-year-old man, and he's done it all and he's gotten it all in terms of the receipts, right? But he really struggles with that feeling of fulfillment. And I would say, people say to him, so why are you anxious? Why are you bothered?
Mm.
You got everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
And between you and I, it looks that way on the outside, but on the inside, he's not, because there were some things along the way. He was so busy making a life for everybody else. He's a great provider. Everybody's gotten in their trust or now handed over his business, homes, and all that stuff. And there were just some things that he had longed to do and hadn't done. And at 70, he's like, I'm at the end of the rope. And so we're crafting for him a life where he is meeting and drinking with his friends. I'm not promoting drinking, but he goes out and
Mhm.
throws
Mhm.
darts and has pizza with some friends, have a beer. Um, 70, but he's joining the gym to do a golden sneakers or something like that. And he's already beginning to feel better, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. In the previous episode, we talked about, as we pursue this midlife vitality, the benefit of decreasing isolation, right? And so, as you just shared that, I was reminded of that conversation around checking in. You know, part of your disruption of peace might be around isolation. And I know for me, there have been times that, I've either been over giving or feeling a little bit burnt out, which has certainly impacted that feeling of peace. And as we talk about, the habits, I definitely had to take a look at my habit in that season and say, okay, what is the grind I'm stuck in? What's the level of overgiving that I'm continuing to fall into, that is impacting my peace? Your peace is critical nowadays.
yeah, and I love that you talked about that, Stacy. You're talking about doing the check-in, because sometimes we're lifing and we just don't get off the wheel long enough to
Yeah.
take a look at what we've been caught up in.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people on the outside can see us getting burnt out or overgiven or under receiving. That's the other part of it too. You overgive, sometimes you under receive, and there's something to be said about asking for you know
Mhm, mhm, a little
um
bit of reciprocity.
absolutely.
Wayne, I was also just reflecting on, that great opportunity we had to co-facilitate, a community conversation. And while that conversation was focused on how we as adults can foster or feed the next generation, right? How we can build up the youth in our community. One of the things we started with was the taking care of yourself, the checking in on yourself. And so there's some great loop connections happening here, because this is stuff that we're experiencing. This is stuff that our clients are experiencing, and the greater community. And so these reminders hopefully will begin to help people really start to take a step by step approach to be intentional about living well this season of life. Coach Wayne, I know you are dropping some nuggets over there and you are on mute.
Stacy, so sorry. I'm on mute, but I'm not muted. Anyway, Stacy, do we have any drum rolls? Because we're about to introduce right now the top 10 habits of happy people. So you want to make sure you get your recorders on or get your pencils or stencils out, because you're going to top 10. And they're not in any specific order, right? So number one is optimism. Optimism. Happy people stay optimists. You know, you got to be a persistent optimist. You got to be able to see the glass half full, even when it's half empty. It shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? So you can't see it that way. You just have to maybe stand on your head, but whichever way you see it, it's got to be half full. Optimism drives hope, drives a promise, drives something to look forward towards. So that's number one on my list.
I like talking about optimism and doing so in a frame that's not from this super positivity, right? But it is, even in the tough moments, connecting with a sense of hope, of possibility, right? So Wayne and I are not talking about, roaming around like Pollyannas and Pollyannos or whatever that term would be, but really looking at it not from the toxic positivity, but about believing that in whatever the season or situation you're in, there is hope. You can handle it. You can get through it.
Yeah, I agree. And so I think there's a question that we should ask, and it is, do you trust yourself? Or are you afraid of what might come up next? You know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, let's talk about kind of the partnership with optimism is altruism, right? Really healthy giving, not over giving, which we just talked about, but really giving from a place of wholeness, of generosity, while keeping in mind your boundaries.
Boundaries comes up a lot, Stacy, and it's important. It does two things. It indicates to others what you will allow, but it also protects you as well and guides you. And when we talk about that, we are usually conditioned in our world to give and not necessarily to refill ourselves after giving. Can you imagine what that does to the individual if we're giving and not restocking and refilling?
Well, you cannot give from an empty well, right? Your giving comes from overflow. It comes from you being full, content, whole, optimistic, right? It comes from the overflow. And so that altruism is really based on, the management of the boundaries, the fueling yourselves in ways that are meaningful to you, doing that self check-in, and then looking at what are the opportunities for me to give what I have. Not just financially, could be time, talents, all of the good stuff. But really making sure that you're doing so not from a place of depletion, but from a place of overflow.
Yeah, and this hits home, Stace. I have a friend who just shared with me last weekend. I hadn't seen him in a while. I may have shared the story with you privately, Stacy, but he's stage 4 colon cancer. It's spreading over the
Mm,
body.
mm,
And I didn't know what to say, but I realized that he called me and we spoke because I had something to give.
mm.
And it was optimism. It was altruism, because it wasn't a you got to give back. It was just sharing, man to man, human to human, heart to heart,
Yep.
soul to soul, uh, just energy that he wanted, needed, and loved. Actually, he told me, enjoyed that. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I couldn't figure out what else to do but to just be authentic at that moment, and just give of myself.
Yes, yes, from a place of overflow, right? Just like, okay, here I am. Here's what I have.
And it made me feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And him as
Mm-hmm.
well. Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Stacy, number 3, I like a lot. And we talk about this since COVID. Audrey and I, the wife and I, we have
Okay.
had this gratitude ritual every morning
Mm.
for the most
Okay.
part. We've missed a few. I
Okay.
don't think we have missed more than, since COVID, 10 days even, where we haven't
Mm-hmm.
done this.
Mm-hmm.
That's over what, 5 years now, maybe going to 6.
Yeah.
And so what it is, Stacy, we get up every day, and no matter what is happening throughout the day, when we make that call, if she's gone before I
Mm-hmm.
get up, hi, hon, what's going to happen? Because I know you got to run, but just wanted to say that I'm happy and grateful that you got to work safely. I'm happy that, we have gas in the car, food to eat in the house. I'm happy that we got up together. Whatever it is, we start off with gratitude. And with that attitude, it's hard while you're being happy about giving
Yeah.
the gifts of life
Yeah.
that you have, that you can be complaining too, you know? So that's one of the ones that I think happy people like to demonstrate in their lives.
Yeah, gratitude is important. Um, it can also be recentering, right? When we are dealing with situations that present themselves that may be challenging or draining, finding one thing to be grateful for can be grounding, can be recentering, and so I love that the two of you make a habit out of, right? You make a habit out
Habit.
of being grateful, out of expressing and exchanging gratitude. And for those of us that maybe don't have that opportunity to do so with someone daily, we can write down throughout the day 3 things that we're grateful for or 3 things that we are hopeful for. um, Put a little note or record a note in your phone. This again, right? We have so much agency and opportunity to really reconnect with what is the joy of life and the beauty of the season. Gratitude is critical.
Stacey, here's a hack that I've shared with clients too. And this is a freebie, y'all. So listen, by cultivating that, what you just said, Stacey, telling someone that at the end of the day, have 3 things that you want to report every day that you're grateful for. You know what it
Mm-hmm.
does? It has you throughout the day looking for things that you can be grateful for, because now you got to collect your basket full of gratitude to take back at day's
Mm-hmm.
end. So
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine just how that can reshape your whole attitude?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fill your daily basket
Yeah.
of gratitude. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
He said it was free, so
That's
there
right,
you go.
Stace. That's right. Later we're going to be collecting. Speaking of later, Stacy, this episode is being brought to you by VIP Transformative Living and Stace.
Coach Stacy M. Lewis of Stacy M. Lewis Coaching and Consulting. We are so glad that you're here.
And remember always to hit that button to be a part of our subscription team of folks that we
Yes,
serve
indeed.
everywhere. So please make sure you hit that button. And Stacey, number 4 on our list
Hmm.
is an exciting future. It's about reclaiming your vision. It's
Yes.
um, it's not quite mid-year yet, but most of us started off earlier in the year with a vision for this year. And as we do our audit, where are we? And even if you're not online, it's a great thing to do to just reconnect and reclaim your vision. That really having something to walk to, yeah, is helping towards your happiness basket.
Yes. Yes. And you mentioned to our listener the reminder to subscribe, right? To subscribe to our podcast. And one of the beauties is if you look at some of our past episodes, we've talked a lot about visioning because we believe that as coaches and as midlifers, that it is important. And so, you also talked about the annual visioning. Well, right now, as this episode is taking place, it is a great time for quarterly revisioning, right? You don't want to just start at the beginning of the year, have a beautiful vision and not check in on it, right? Not see what modifications need to be made, what changes in life have taken place that might change the vision for the year. Check
Mhm.
in quarterly. Now's the time to say, you can even do it monthly, but really
Mhm.
look at however you've documented your vision, even if it's up here, check in on it and reclaim your vision, really embrace those dreams and what it is you see, right? That reconnects with the hope and allows you to really think about moving forward and plan some new steps to do so.
And Stace, you know that wisdom in the people without a vision is likely to do what?
Perish.
Absolutely.
Perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish.
Yeah, it's like walking up a plank and not having something to go towards, right? Likely to plunge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and now, Stacy, number 5. So we're midway down the
Yeah.
10 habits that create
Mm-hmm.
happiness. And again, midlife is a place where oftentimes we question where we are and what we've done. So we want
Mm.
to suggest that you do some of these. Doing what you're good at. This is about strength based thinking
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and becoming. And it's more than just performing. Know that you have some gifts and look at what your strengths are. We all have unique strengths. We're not all deficits, right? We
Right.
have some
Right.
strengths. We bring something to the table. Figure out what your strengths are. And a key, Stacy, that folks can use is if you don't know your own strengths and you're not doing something formal as we sometimes do in our coaching with our clients, you can ask somebody, hey, what do you say I'm really good at?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as my strengths?
I think that kind of live feedback from people that you trust is great motivation to really connect with that, because people that know you and that you trust, they're really going to tell you what they see, and oftentimes they see or remind us of the things that we stop seeing in ourselves. And so that reconnecting with your strengths and what you're good at and what fuels you, right? What sets your soul on fire? What makes you excited about tomorrow or about next week, next month, next year? What is it? Tap into, reconnect with those strengths, those visions, those fuels to move you forward.
I love that you said fuels more than once because oftentimes, if you're not being fueled, you're being frictioned. And so
Mm,
I like that you are talking about strength fueling you to get past the friction. Midlifers have a lot of friction very
yeah,
often.
yeah. Mhm, mhm,
Stace,
mhm.
Number 6. Stacey, how do you say 6 in Spanish?
Seis.
Okay.
Had to count in my head. Seis.
So 6, because we are getting listeners from everywhere, and we don't want to, even if it's only number 6 that they can get, we're going to let them have one. For
Just
sure.
because that's all we have, really.
Oh, Stacey, so funny. So it's number 6 is resilience.
Yeah.
And resilience, especially now we're talking about midlifers, it's the art and skill of bouncing back, recognizing that you're not done yet. There's still a life ahead of you. Midlife means that you're only halfway down the track, folk. So resilience is about bouncing back and keep on moving till you get there.
Yeah, these all work so nicely together, right?
Yeah.
And again, we're sharing opportunities, really reminders, right? You have not made it this far without some type of modicum of resilience, right? Even if we've forgotten that, oh yeah, I can be resilient, or ignored the fact that we're being resilient, sometime naming something like resilience turns it into a level of fuel, right? A drop of fuel in your tank. And so that resilience, letting go of perfectionism. I know that there are a lot of recovering perfectionists out there. Letting go. Okay. So for our podcast audience, Wayne just covered his face in a moment of shame, as I mentioned, recovering perfectionist.
I
But
can't
that's it,
lie.
right? We've got to let go of perfectionism. It is not serving us.
Yeah. And it's funny, I don't know where I got it from. Self-created torment, the need to just get it right. And that has caused a lot of pain on my side and on others too, because
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking at being perfect, then you're going to make some judgments which can ostracize others, not to mention yourself, beating yourself up, self-flagellating. And Stacey, I remember when we just started a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we were getting started, and I was like, but this icon got to be this color and this shade. And you're like, Wayne, it doesn't have to be. Just get the things started.
Right,
Right.
right, right. So often, and it's so interesting. This came up in a recent coaching session that I was in, a group coaching session. Just that sometimes you just have to move.
Yeah.
It's perfectionism that is holding us back, right? And
Yeah.
we were talking about logos and colors and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
sometime you just have to move. So your resilience is tied to that number 7, which is the reasonable expectations,
Yeah.
right? So we're
Yeah.
letting go of perfectionism. We're bobbing and weaving, right? We're navigating without breaking. And we're saying we're going to keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's key. A lot of times you talk about keeping it moving. A lot of times we hold ourselves back. Our standards aren't empowering us, they're exhausting us.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
yeah.
Well said. Yeah.
Remember, folks, this is
Yeah.
about habits. We're talking about developing not a one-shot thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're and
Mm-hmm.
training the mind to behave like this, create these habits.
Yes. That was so good. Right. Is it
Forgiveness.
empowering you or exhausting you? I love
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Number 8,
Mm-hmm.
we're at number 8, Stacy, in the countdown. And number 8 is a big one, forgiveness. How many of us want to be forgiven and we haven't learned to forgive ourselves? Forget about forgiving other people,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
forgiving yourself. Releasing the emotional burden and weight, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting, Coach Wayne. Um, so often, in particular, in familial conversations, you realize that sometimes we're holding on to stuff. I mean, from long ago, or something that someone said, 5 years ago. And we don't give it the weight from an unforgiveness standpoint that we should, right? But when you are still talking with a level of vitriol about something that someone said 5 years ago, you have not forgiven them. Whether you convinced yourself that you have, or you feel like forgiveness doesn't apply, you have not forgiven them. And that unforgiveness is only holding you back. We have to release that emotional weight. We have to practice forgiveness. Whether you are in the body of Christ or not, trust and believe that forgiveness is going to be a key in not only your forward momentum, but in all of these other habits that Wayne and I talked about. That forgiveness is I could go on and on about that. It is so critical. Let go of the little things. It's not helping you. The things that you don't forgive about yourself, let it go.
And Stacy, I was told by a wise one, my brother-in-law, don't sweat the small stuff. And guess what? It's all small stuff.
Small stuff.
How many people really get tied up with hating on someone who has gone on to live their lives, who don't even remember that you existed? And we are so busy caught up with, they did this, they did the other. They have moved on. Folks, let it go. Give yourself some grace and some room to grow. Whatever you focus on grows. And if you're focusing on the trip up of somebody else or even yourself, you don't give yourself room to allow new blessings to come in. So let go and move forward.
Yes, yes, yes. Let go and let God, as they say, right? And if you run into folks and they haven't gotten over it, well, that's the unforgiveness that they're carrying. You don't have to carry it.
Yeah. Stacey, we didn't actually do this in any order, but it's working out just fine in terms of the sequence that it comes. Because number 9 is authenticity. What is that? Being real. Stacey, Coach Stacey, you and I know that, we grew up without social media, but we are part of it. Thank God we're still here to see it. But folks growing up with social media, I tell you, figuring out what's real and being real can and has been a challenge, Stacey.
You're absolutely right. And in the age of AI, it's even more challenging to decipher who is being authentic and who is reading the script, right? Who is reading from the script of perfectionism or well polished or, full face and ready for camera, and who is really bringing their authentic self. Nothing wrong with makeup. I got on a little bit, who's bringing their authentic self into the conversation, right? Even with yourself. We were just talking about self-forgiveness, right? But being authentic, being real with yourself about who you are, about how you feel about certain things, about your beliefs, and about your vision and dreams. Be authentic so that you can really move forward in a way that feels like you.
Yeah. And whether you're at work or at play, you can show up your full self, no need to shrink. And as they say in Jamaica, stop small up yourself, man. Big up.
I love it. I love it. I love it when Wayne the Jamaican shows up.
and the truth of the matter is, so much to feel good about when you're being the real deal, right? And the REAL deal, not the REEL, the one that shows up for the camera.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah. The playing small is something that I've experienced in my own life, and has been the experience of many of the clients that I've had the blessing of coaching. It is that whether it's gender specific or role specific or coming from, the way you were brought up, this idea of quieting the voice, of playing it small when that's not really who you are. Um, has been stifling for many. And so this is the time. Be you, be authentic with who you are, as you are, because indeed that's where the gift is.
Yeah, absolutely. Being the real deal. And we are at number 10. What I'm enjoying the show, Stacy. Wish we had 20 more to go. But number 10 in terms of habits for happiness. Number 10 is real and used in coaching as well as in therapy a lot for people who are dealing with depression, anxiety, adjustments. It's really about being in the now, being present. Tali has this book called The Power of Now. It's about being in the present. You can't be responsible for the past. It's gone. You have to let it go. And you can't hold yourself accountable for the future because it's not here yet. So the only thing you truly have concern over or power over is your present, your now. And if you would let go what you can't control, the past or the future, you would find that you find a greater sense of peace and happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so often that, we talk about folks being in their phone all of the time. The reality is you still can't be two places at once, right? I can't be in this conversation with you and on my phone. That being present with you, right? Looking someone eye to eye in whatever the situation is. That's showing up fully present in your entire body with your entire being is really where the joy is. That's where the richness of this life is. And so often, to your point, our thinking, our mind is set on so many things, right? We're worried about what's for dinner and thinking about, how I'm going to get someone from X to Y, how am I going to get my mom from the doctor's office back home, and how am I going to, get this report done at work, when right now I'm sitting at a table with a friend having lunch, right? That being present, it feels so good. It
Yeah,
feels so good.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it gives you a chance to truly check in with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's about integrity and honesty, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
cool.
No, being present with yourself
Yeah.
is critical. You're right. Gives you that moment to kind of pause, right? To take some good deep breaths, to center yourself and reset for what's next.
So here's what we're saying, good listener. We're not saying that you have to start your life over from scratch. You don't need a new life. We're saying there's a shift that needs to happen. And as a midlifer, it's about finding habits that align
Yeah.
so that you can and align with the things that bring about happiness,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you have agency to choose those and to create those for yourselves. You earn it, you deserve it. Why not go for it?
I agree. I agree. Well said. This opportunity that we have to check in on ourselves, right? We're used to checking in on others. Check in on ourselves and identify maybe one small area. We talked about kind of 10 areas of habit, 10 things that you can focus on. Choose one.
Yeah,
Choose one, whether it be authenticity or presence or forgiveness. Choose one
yeah,
and look at how practicing that, even just for a week, helps you
Yeah.
identify what drains you, what fuels you, and how you can utilize that to really adjust or to shift, as Coach Wayne said.
Yeah. And there, we threw out a lot, Stacy. We're challenging you this week. Do an audit, your boundaries. Where do you need to draw some lines and have some boundaries, or do the gratitude journal? Get 3 things every day that you seek in your day that you can be grateful about.
Yeah. I would say, if something in this episode resonated with you, spoke to you, share it and think about that being your one area of awareness really waking up. And that awareness is really powerful and supports accelerated change.
Yeah.
So if you're ready to shift some habits, your mindset, your life, reach out, connect. How can the people reach you, Coach Wayne?
Hey, Stace, they can go on my website, viptransformativeliving.com, or wherever you're hearing me now, you can hit that handle or find it on the website and just DM your man.
Yeah, your man.
That's right.
DM.
Not your boy, your man.
DM your man. Okay, wait. All right, sisters. I'm just gonna say,
Stacey, how do they find you?
I'm gonna keep that clean, right? Wayne does have a wife, so sisters, don't DM Wayne as your man. Okay, I'm just keeping it clear.
That's right.
I can be reached at StaceyMLewis.com, as well as Wayne said. We always make sure that our contact information is in the show notes, and if you are catching this on any social media platform, you know how to connect with us. This has truly been a joy. Would you like to share a couple of declarations with the folks before we sign off, Coach Wayne?
Yeah, I would say start saying to yourself and thinking, I trust myself to navigate this season of my life.
And I would add, give yourself permission to experience joy. I'm allowed to experience joy now. It doesn't have to wait until everything is perfect for me to experience joy. I can do that now.
To everything there is a season. Stacy, that's from the good book.
Time, that's right. That's right. A time under the sun. That's right. To everything there is a season. And the reality is that this is your season. It could be a little rocky season, with seasons come and go. They change. That's the point, right? But this is your season to pursue the next level of you. Coach Wayne talked about leveling up in this season of life, and this is your season to pursue that next level.
Midlife is not a crisis, it's an opportunity. Be happy. Don't worry. Stace, you're supposed to jump in with a chorus right there.
Be happy.
So, Stace, until next time we see these good people again, what's up?
I'm cheering you on.
And I'll see you at the top.
Thanks for tuning in to Midlife Revolution Unleashed. We're grateful you're part of this journey.
If you love this episode, share it, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another episode.
I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.